While we wait for just like the last couple of people to join, let's just kind of run through what today and the rest of the week looks like. So we have our meeting right now, and then at 11 o'clock there is the Bold Coaching Corner, as well as the Rieger Coaching, How to Win in Today's Market. And those Rieger coachings are recorded, as are the Facebook ones. But the Rieger Coaching, those are great even if you need to watch them later on just different strategies and things to how to win in our market. So those are really great. And then we also have, oh, thank you, Austin. Awesome. We also have our CE class today at 1 o'clock, and that is put on by Fidelity Title and also our friends at Academy, and it's going to be on reverse mortgages. And you do need to pre-register for that. Is that correct, Melanie?
Yes, please.
Yes, and I think they even said they were doing a raffle if
yeah.
the pre-register.
Yeah, for everybody that pre-registers and attends the class, they get their name entered in the raffle. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
Cool. Thanks for setting that up, Melanie. And then tomorrow is Red Day. We'll talk more about that later in our meeting, but block out time tomorrow for that. And then Friday, Tanya is going to be doing her command class, and we have the Bold Pivot Classroom session that's postponed from Red Day. So that's just a look at what's to come. So looks like we got more people on now, and let's see, Dwight, Austin. So let's kick off our meeting today with a great video that Dwight shared with all of us. Dwight, do you want to say anything about the video before we show it? I don't think so. Let's just play it. Austin, you ready for that?
Yep, got it. Just one moment. So actually, just real quick, I'm going to be sending this video over through screen share. There may be a slight delay in the quality on your side because you will have to start streaming it, or the quality will increase over time. Let's just say that. But let's get this going on. I'll start it.
Everybody experiences extreme stress at some point in their life. I don't care who we are. Something happens outside our control and it hits our life and it knocks us on our tail. It might be a health stress. It could be something with your family. It could be economic, career. It could be something emotional that happens, biochemical. There's so many things. It could be an environmental situation that had nothing to do with you. Every one of us in our lifetime are experiencing extreme stress. And these days, because of the economy and the way we respond to it, the majority of people are experiencing some form of extreme stress, at least according to polls. Stress doesn't come from the facts. Stress comes from the meaning that we give the facts. Yes, those things have happened. But the real question is, if we fight what's happened, we got a problem. We got to decide, what are we going to do with what's happened in our life? How are we going to take this? How are we going to mold this? How are we going to turn our life around? Because when you come up with a new meaning, you get a new life. So what are we going to do in this session? Well, in this session, we're going to take a look at something from a different perspective. We're going to ask you this question. What is the single force that controls the quality of your life? If there was one gift our Creator has given us, or the universe, whatever you believe, what is it? What is the one power that you have right now in this moment that can change everything? You have it, I have it, we all have it. It's this one singular individual power that can change anything in our life, regardless of what's happened to us. And I know you know the answer. The answer is the power of choice. The one thing we have in this world is we can't control the events, but we can choose what to focus on, we can choose what things mean, and we can choose what to do. Those three choices, those three decisions really control our life. It's not so much the conditions of our life that control our destiny as much as the decisions of our life. Try for a second to think about something. Think about your life. And just think about, are there a few decisions? If I were to ask you 2 decisions you made in life, you know that if you would have made a different decision, you would have had a totally different life. I mean, it may be, a life may have been better, or it may have been worse, I don't know, but you would have a different life. I'm not asking you to buy into the fact that you should have known the answers. I just want you to see the power of a decision. How is your life better today because of a decision you made years ago, not just negative ones? Think about it. Sometimes a little decision changes your whole life. Like you decide one day to go to a certain school, and you go to that school, or to go eat someplace, and you bump into the person that becomes the love of your life. or you meet someone and you decide as a result of that you're going to become a photographer or a software engineer or a business person or a doctor, a dentist, whatever. They impacted you, but you made the decision, that's what I really want. That's what my life's going to be about. And that decision has affected so much of your life, what you do, how you live your life, how you spend your time, what you earn or don't earn, who you attract into your life. Beliefs you have all come from some of these little decisions. What you decide to eat from your dinner plate each night certainly determines your physical destiny, right? We all know that, at least to a certain extent. I know there's a certain amount that's genetics, but I'm talking about the stuff you and I can control. So decisions equal destiny. It's not our conditions, it's our decisions. So if we want a new life, if we want a new experience, we've got to make new choices. If you don't like the way your career is or your business is, change it. If you don't like your body, change it. You don't like your relationship, change you first, because if you change it, you'll bring you to the next one. Maybe it's time to change it too, but change yourself first. If you want to change anything in your life, you have the choice. So there is no right or wrong. I just want to make you aware in this breakthrough session that everything in our life changes the moment we make a decision. And I mean a real decision. A decision is when you cut off any other possibility and you commit to something with everything you've got and you take action. But the big decisions start with little decisions like, what am I going to focus on? Because whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. If you focus on all the things that have been done to you in your life, of course you're going to feel like hell. If you focus on all the amazing coincidences that have happened, things that maybe they were guided, maybe not, but things happen, and because of that, you met this person that's your best friend, your husband, your wife, or because of that, you have this ability, or because you were there that day, God, you missed an accident. I don't know what it is, but whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. If you focus on people don't care, and you'll look for reasons why they don't care, and evidence they don't care, you'll find it everywhere. If you look for evidence that people are really good people inside, that at some level we all care about each other, you'll find it. Seek and you shall find. The secret is, have you become conscious about your decision making? Because this breakthrough session is, really, you want to change your life, make new choices. New life comes from new choices, but you got to make conscious choices. The people in this particular television special, Melissa and her husband, they really found themselves in a place where they were both making decisions, Melissa and Rick, that were unconscious. When you make decisions about what to focus on and what things mean and what to do, and you're unconscious, you get pretty terrible results usually. Now, we've all done this. I do it still. We all do. But if you want to change your results, you got to become more conscious in your decision making. So think about it. What you focus on, you will feel. Whether it's true or not. You focus on how people don't care, you're going to feel they don't care. Second decision you make is, what do things mean? So you focus on something someone does and you come up with a meaning, and the meaning is, no one loves me. The meaning is, they're trying to take advantage of me. Depending on what meaning you come up with, and you get to choose the meaning of anything. For some people, they say, this situation happened with the economy, and what that means is, I'm going broke. Somebody else said, this situation happened with the economy, guess what? That means I'm going to work harder, I'm going to be more creative, it changed everything. Everybody else is going to quit, so we're going to dominate the marketplace. There are people to do it. Is this the end right now, or is it the beginning? See, whether it's the end or beginning is your choice. You get to decide, because once you make up a meaning, it's true. If you think that this is the end of a relationship, are you going to treat people the same way as if you think it's the beginning of a relationship? No way. In fact, I tell people, if you want to have a great relationship, think about this. Treat people like you did in the beginning of the relationship, and there won't be an end. In the beginning of the relationship, when somebody says to you, would you take out the trash? What do you say? Of course, take out the trash. You're happy to do anything, right? But after about 6 months or 6 years, you go take them out the trash. You go, what do you mean? What, I look like your janitor? Take out your own trash. The meaning we give things is very different, and so we feel different, and our life is different. In the beginning, you'll do anything for someone. Now you make up a new meaning. Why should I have to do that for them? Little choices, like what to believe about yourself, what to believe about other people, whether this is the end or the beginning, start to affect your whole life. And the third decision we make, we decide what to focus on, most of us unconsciously. We decide what things mean, and the third thing we decide is, what are we going to do? We decide to quit because it's overwhelming. We decide to get strong and focus. We decide we're going to turn it around. We decide to wait and see. Ultimately, your destiny is determined by what you do. So, for example, what do you do if somebody comes to you one day and says, you have a tumor? Again, I've had that experience. I use that as a reference point because I've had a lot of intense experiences in my life, but that was one of the more intense ones for sure. many, but that was very intense. You know, first, what do you focus on? Do you focus on it's over? Do you focus on why me? Do you give it a meaning that says, I'm gonna die? What do? Do you just go through traditional therapeutic approach? Do you put yourself in the hands of someone else? Do you evaluate this? Do you get a second or third opinion? Your destiny is determined by your decisions. Now, if you're a guy like Lance Armstrong, you focus immediately on, I gotta find a solution. The meaning you come up with is, this is the ultimate battle. What you decide to do is you're gonna exhaust every possibility. Now, that doesn't guarantee you're gonna succeed, but it's interesting. When you have that kind of a mindset, it shifts you. And Lance Armstrong, I mean, he was told things like, look, you got tumors here in your brain, you got them in your lungs, right? You got, obviously, in testicles, and you ride a bike for a living. That's pretty tough. But he made it to all of those pieces. Now, am I saying because he made the right choices? I can't tell you that. There's certainly some grace in everything. I think in life, there's three things. There's our ability to choose what we're focused on, or to commit, to get a result, to put all our intention and focus into something. There's our ability to do the right things, to have the right strategy to execute. And then there's some grace. There's what some people call luck, some people call grace. There's, if you do the right things over and over again and with total focus, sometimes, you know, you get good fortune that comes your way. And you tend to have more good fortune when you're totally focused and decisive and you take lots of action than if you kind of just sit around and accept things like that you don't have a future.
Woo-hoo! What a good way to start, right? How good was that? Thank you for sharing that, Dwight. That was Tony Robbins, and he just came out with that, right, Dwight?
Yeah, that just showed up on YouTube, and I was telling the staff that I used to actually attend Tony Robbins trainings at Memorial Coliseum in the 80s when he was beginning to be a speaker, and he focused on real estate. Now he's, you know, one of the highest paid celebrity speakers in the whole world. So he's come a long way. And well, he makes a lot of points in that video about what we need to do going forward. So glad we could listen to it.
Thanks, Dwight. And Lacey asked what the name of it was, or do you have to, if someone has the link, they want to share it in the chat.
I got the link. I can transfer that over.
Cool.
To,
Thanks, Austin. And, you know, so many of the language from that video ties in with bold, right? Some very similar language, right? On what you're focusing on is going to expand and all of that. So just very timely, right? So bold is going on right now, and we're having some great successes from people in it in our very own office. So today we're going to hear from Nicole DeZeb. Will you share with everyone how bold is going and what your recent successes have been? And we're only in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Bold's going really well. It's for people who've done it. It's kind of overwhelming. It's like it's a lot and it's high energy and doing it virtually. So I mean, it's a lot, but I feel like I'm definitely getting a lot out of it. And last week I started being much more intentional about calling my database, which didn't actually, I got 2 buyer leads last week, but it wasn't from calling my database of sphere of influence. I've been doing the Facebook ads, and I got them from a command Facebook ad. That was the like April hot list ad. But it was funny for one of them because I called the woman, you know, and she had given her, you know, the lead. I called her and she had no recollection of seeing my ad. She completely kind of denied it. Like, how did you get my number? But then she said, but wait, what are you? And I said, I'm a realtor with, you know, KW. And she goes, oh, well, how amazing, you just called me. I want to buy a duplex. And I was like, that's really funny. So the ad, it's really been the bold and the Facebook ads, which kind of came together for me last week, and I hope continues.
Love that.
We have a duplex for you.
Oh, really?
Perfect. Nicole, how much did you spend on that ad? And will you elaborate a little bit more on what the content was?
Yeah, one of the sessions a couple weeks ago, Tanya brought on Jay, or you guys brought on Jay, and one of his ads was a listing ad, but then one of them was like a hot list ad. And I just followed exactly what he did. The three, you know, Zillow, Trulio, Realtor, and put a link into my webpage. But it's for people who are looking for houses in Portland under 400,000. So I did a search for that on my website, put that link in, and then yeah, and then put the ad out there. So that in 1 week got 13 leads, which I don't know if that's good or not, but
Sounds good to me.
yeah, and two of them are more immediate leads, like this woman who wants to buy the duplex, and then this other little couple who are ready to buy their first home.
What was the cost that you spent on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I did, I want to say $20. No, I think I did the $30 for 10 days.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
13 leads, you know, you're around $2 a lead, but you got some slam dunk right away leads.
Right.
And you called them and said the right thing. So there's obviously the credit to you too. But I love that you said you didn't try to reinvent the wheel. You didn't have a bunch of big fancy listings to push. You just did one of the ones that Jay had. So that is a great tip. So thank you for sharing, and good luck with the rest of Bold. You're doing amazing. And if anyone needs help with any of that, you can refer back to Tanya's videos or Jay's video in our YouTube channel. All of the trainings that Tanya does on command are all saved in there right where these videos are. So it's a great resource to be able to go back and see what's already in there. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Nicole.
All right, so let's get into Heather's going to talk a little bit about the numbers today, and then we're going to go into RedDay. But before that, we have our good friend Brad from Academy Mortgage on the phone. Brad, thank you for joining us.
You bet.
And I think you're going to talk a little bit about mortgage credit availability. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we've seen actually quite a few changes in the last week and a half, a little bit of tightening up. So do you guys have the presentation I sent over to Dwight? I can share it from my screen too, if that works.
Share it on yours.
Okay, yeah, does that work?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just kind of wrapped it up this morning. So yeah, let me share a couple of things. Dwight had sent over an article that came through this last week, which was really timely. So let me just share this, and I'll share a little bit about some of the changes that have been happening. Can you guys see that okay?
Yep, great.
So good. So this was the title of the Housing Wire article. It hasn't been this hard to get a mortgage in more than 5 years. And that sounds, I think, worse than it really is, because if you look at even back in 11 and 12, we're still way better than where we were really over the last 8 to 9, 10 years. Things have been getting better, more availability. You've seen non-QM loans come in. You've seen a little bit more loosening, a lot more new loans. So some of that has kind of shut down. So there is something, this is put out by the Mortgage Bankers Association, and they have this index on availability. And so you look at that number and you go, oh, that looks terrible. But when you break it down a little bit, and that's kind of what I've done for you guys here, is where really are some of the availability issues happening. So you can see how this is really broken out. Really, the biggest impacts have been to jumbo loans. I think many of you know that. A lot of the jumbo loans have kind of gone away. They're still out there, but some of that's been cut back, gotten tighter. Non-QM, which we've been doing bank statement loans and other, we don't like calling it subprime, but it's kind of some of that old subprime things where people have lower credit scores, maybe higher debt to income ratios, some of that kind of stuff. A lot of those just got completely shut down, although we're starting to hear some of those non-QM loans might be coming back in some modified formats. And then if you look at conforming loans and government loans, which is really the majority of what we do here in Oregon, especially with the conforming limit all the way up to 510, 400 right now, those had some tightenings, but not a ton. So I wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of some of the things that have happened over the last week or so. First of all, we have seen some minimum credit. You know, it used to be you could get a FHA, VA loan down to 600, and we even had some options that were below 600. That came up to 660 with a maximum of 50% debt to income ratio. And then we've actually just come back to 640, but with a little tighter debt to income ratio. So a little bit of tightening on credit score and debt to income ratio. And then for conventional loans, the biggest change we saw was with cash out refinances. Some companies have cut off cash out refinances completely. We're still doing those down to 70% loan to value, a little tighter DTI again, 40%, and then higher credit score, 700. And then a few other things, again, a little tighter on manufactured homes, although we do have options. Assets, of course, with the stock market coming way down, they're being more conservative, looking at those for reserves. They're looking at 70% of the value versus 100%. Just things like that. They want to make sure that, you know, if you've got funds that you're going to be using for a purchase, they want to make sure you've liquidated, the funds are all available. And then we're also seeing a little bit tightening in some of the QC stuff that's happening. So they're really looking at loans carefully. We still have a lot of great broker options, even for some of the in-house programs that have been tightened up. We still have some broker options that we can go to for even lower than 620. Jumbo's up to 200, up to 2 million. We have some manufacturing home loans. So there's still some niches out there. And that's one of the benefits that we have is we'll always look, you know, of course, if we can do it in-house, because we're servicing, we do everything. But if we can't provide that, we will look at some broker options, and we've been doing more of that in some of those tighter situations. So that's kind of, when you look at, is that correct? Have availability tightened up? It definitely has, but it's in some very specific areas. And we certainly aren't seeing the big swing like we saw back in, you know, the Great Recession, 08, 09, where a lot of things just went away completely. Couple other key factors that are happening right now I just wanted to bring up, and they are kind of related to this. First one is forbearance. If someone has gone into forbearance, we really can't do any financing for them until they're paid in full. I just saw a number today, over almost 4 million homeowners have gone into forbearance, so it is a big deal. Furloughs, when people are on furloughs, we're not able to do loans. Once they're back, we can do that. And then finally, with layoffs, you can't use unemployment income, stuff like that. There are some exceptions, seasonal employees. The other thing that we've seen is verification of employments have gotten much more rigorous. It's happening at the time of lock, it's happening during underwriting, and then of course, within usually 48 hours before funding, we're verifying, hey, they're still an active employee. So that's gotten tightened up a lot. And those are for W-2 employees, of course. For self-employed borrowers, we're requiring evidence within 10 days of kind of closing of the note date that their business is still operating. They've got maybe a closed transaction, maybe whatever it is, they've got to show some proof that in the last 10 days, they've got either a new job, an invoice, a receipt of payment, something like that. So self-employment has tightened up as well. There's been a few things that have gotten more flexible. The use of power of attorney has been, you know, lightened up a little bit. Some more remote and online notarization things have gotten approved. Appraisals, we're allowing some exterior and drive-bys, and we're seeing more appraisal waivers. So there are a few things that have happened, but you know, those are some of the key things that are happening. Any questions before I move on? I've got a couple other slides I thought would be appropriate to show as well.
Brad, we have one in the chat from Lacey.
Oh, sure.
She was told by a lender 2 days ago that FHA credit score minimum is at 680. Is it different depending on who you ask?
Yeah, great question. And it really is. So like I showed earlier, we can go to 640, a little tighter debt to income ratio. If they're at 660 or above, it's just back up to the 50% debt to income ratio. So we have seen a lot of the banks and some mortgage companies move up to 680, but that is very lender specific, depending on if they are, a broker, if they are servicing their own loans. We're servicing our own loans, and so that's given us more flexibility.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions on some of this tightening stuff? Because it is true, things have tightened a bit, but there's still a lot of availability. Obviously, that video was incredible because it really does come down to the attitude and the focus, and we can find ways, and we always have we want to find a way to help people get in the right situation. Okay, so a couple other quick things I just thought I would share, and I can send you guys, I did send this to you, Dwight, but I can send this to anyone else too. We just got yesterday some more information around loan performance. And this is for February, so a little bit older, but what's interesting is you can see loan performance, foreclosures still at 20-year lows. So loans are still performing very well. But I did like this quote. This is all basically pre-pandemic, and there is an expectation that we're going to see more foreclosures in the future. The second half of the year, they're expecting some of that to certainly increase depending on with job losses and that kind of thing. The good news is that most homeowners have lots of equity. This was another chart that I thought was really interesting. Almost 60% have 60% equity. There's lots of equity in homes. So in the past, where people didn't have equity, they were forced to go to short sale or foreclosure. Now, and this is why it's so important to be talking to people, there's still a low inventory. If someone has to sell, they've got equity and they can sell. Now they might want to have a little more urgency in selling, but there's still lots of equity, and people should be able to sell rather than go to foreclosure or short sale. And you guys have probably seen some of these charts before. This is what a lot of the major investment firms are projecting. Obviously, the second quarter is going to be way down, but they're expecting the third and fourth quarter to be where the rebound happens. And again, the biggest thing we do know is there's a lot of uncertainty. So these are just basic projections. Another chart that I thought was really interesting, and you guys have probably seen some of this, is we saw a big fall off on real estate showings in March. But those have really kind of ramped up. And I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but we're seeing a lot more purchase activity just even in the last couple weeks. I had an offer that went out over the weekend. They had they were competing with 7 other offers. I mean, so there is a demand out there. If sellers want to sell, it's a great time to sell. And then finally, a little bit about, the unemployment claims. We're seeing massive unemployment claims. That's what's driving a lot of the tightening that we're seeing, both on verifications as well as just some of the guidelines. You can see expectation this week is that it'll be closer to 2.5 million in unemployment claims. So that's going down, but still there. And then this is, I think I got a couple more, but this is another one. You can see where the impact of a lot of that unemployment is. It's in a lot of that service sector. Servers, bartenders, retail. I mean, that's where a lot of that big impact is. And as things start to open up, that, is going to take some time to recover. And then this was another one I thought was great, just in terms of how quick we're going to bounce back. When we went through the Great Recession, 9 years ago, it took a long time for this to recover. They're expecting recovery to be much quicker, but it still could take a few years to really begin to recover. And then the final one, some of this stuff just came from Bridge Builders. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they have a great source of charts. Again, a little bit back to what what Tony Robbins said. It's like what we're focusing on and how we're approaching this. You know, we want to make sure that we're out there. We're the experts in this area. We're the ones driving some of the messaging around the opportunity in housing, hypercurrent on housing information, know your data for your, you know, the micro data as well. And then just continuing to reach out. It's great to hear. I think Nicole was sharing about her ads and reaching out for people. There's people who want to buy and sell out there. So we need to continue to be reaching out with people. We're doing more and more Zoom calls with clients so we can share information since we can't do face-to-face. And it's really been great, great connection with people, great information sharing. So I thought this was another really good one just to share. So that's what I got.
Hey, Brad, that was absolutely amazing. My question to you is, would you email me those slides? Because a couple of those slides I think would be really, really great visuals if we have buyers and sellers that are hesitant to jump into the market, especially the one that had the showings, and then the other one that had the unemployment and whatnot. So, you know, that gets back to what we were talking about in the office in several of the last calls, which is, you know, what happens if you decide to wait this out, and when you come back in, you know, the home you want isn't available, and the rates are higher and things have changed, right? This is an awesome market to buy in, which is why so many people are buying the homes right now. So can you email me those, and then we'll put it out for everybody?
You got it. Yeah. And I think, you know, last time I was on a couple of weeks ago, we talked about affordability. And that's huge. I mean, it's part of this whole thing with those rates being down. So yeah, and please feel free to reach out to me if there's any questions or anything else you guys need. We're here to help. Josh and Chad and I would love to help any way we can. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm going to take off. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Hey, I would like to just add, sorry, Karina, I've interrupted you twice now, but I just want to emphasize, we've got to be the economists of choice. We've said that over and over. Gary Keller is saying it. Keller Williams is saying it. In markets like this that are super uncertain, and people are talking typically about the biggest investment of their lives, we have to be the economists of choice. And having these things to talk about. Last week, Mike Hobson showed us what was happening with showings, how they're ramping back up. If you were on the Craig Rigger call, he talked about how many pendings there were versus how many listings that came on the market. That'll probably come up again after this call. Now we've got these additional showings that are looking at, for example, if you look at the unemployment, and it's pretty much, I mean, if you look at those bar graphs, holy cow, is it primarily in the service sector? So there's a lot of things that you can speak to here in these slides that if you keep them, you show them to your clients, say, look, why would you wait? This is a great time to sell and get an all-time high price. And this is a great time to buy and get an all-time low interest rate. So anyway, that's the path we're on as leadership for the office, to try and give you those tools so you can be the economist of choice for your clients.
Yes, I love that, Dwight. And that's what I was going to say to Brad too, is thank you for sharing. That is the exact info that we want to have, because every client that you interact with, one of the first questions is going to be, how is the market? Should I wait? Something along those lines. And if you have actual facts and data and statistics, how much more credible are you going to come across? And we will share the slides. We'll share them on our Facebook, and we can email them out as well. But I would blast about that. So awesome. Any other questions about the mortgages or the numbers or the economics or anything that Brad shared?
The market action report just came out, so.
Tell us more.
Well, here. Let me do this. You see a pending sales chart?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's, they're down a bit. How's that? And then closed sales look like that. So
So we're really going to start to see, right? What's going to.
well, I mean, you know, everything's, our market lags. So you know, the great March and April were because they were January and February. So we're going to see a little bit of a dip, but as soon as people come out of the woods, I think it's going to catch up in a big hurry. So we just have to be ready for it.
Yeah, you know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Take it away, Mike.
Okay, I was just going to say, you know, and I just read that report from Market Action RMLS last night also, and there were a couple of things that, you know, April was pretty far down, 30% of though. Having said that, that's just a dip. If you could believe, we actually are 2.9% ahead of last year when we look at the first 4 months of the year, which is, you know, really pretty impressive considering what we've gone through in the last 45 days or so. So I think, you know, people need to know that the biz, what we have is just more serious buyers out there than we've had before, because obviously the traffic is down, but the actual closed sales, at least through the end of April, was 2.9% plus. So, you know, that was really kind of startling to me, but that we had still survived so far as how much business there really is out there. So I think there's a real opportunity for us if we own the listing inventory. And I think we really need to be focused at that, because there's some serious buyers out there now who are willing to weather the storm and still be out there. So I think it's just an opportunity for us, and the first one gets out off the market and gets going, and all that investment you've done in the business over the last 30 or 45 days, I think can pay off for you if you're out there following up on it.
Yeah, and I would add to that, Mike, that we spoke about this before. Remember, with the rates coming down as fast as they've come down, we find ourselves back in that environment where in many cases it's cheaper to own than it is to rent. So there are so many things that are happening that are helping us right now, wind at our backs, as they say, to try and get through this. We have to make sure we take advantage of it. So I think listings right now, just from people I'm talking to, anything under about 550, maybe even as high as 600, are pretty much gold bars that you can put in the bank. They're selling like crazy. They're gonna, if they're in decent condition and decent price, they're gonna sell. That's money in the bank, and that's what we have to focus on right now.
Thank you guys. Great advice, Peter, Mike, and Dwight. And Peter, thanks for sharing the market action. Beth also commented, Beth Castor, on another resource for consumers. It's consumerfinance.gov. So great resource to send to your consumers and to help educate them and yourself. So this kind of transitions into, let's find out a little bit more about how our numbers were and how Keller Williams, our office, and I think what are we going to talk about? Everyone's. Heather, let's take it away.
Let me just make one real quick comment while she's setting up. That's an inventory. Inventory is up to 2.4. So for buyers, there's more choices right now, the ones that are out there, which is also exciting.
It is.
That's all. I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Austin, you want to pull up the slides? Thank you. Okay. So this first slide, we're talking about our stats. So for April, our closed units, we closed 99 units. So month over month, so that's comparing April of this year versus April of last year. Year over year is the first 4 months of the year versus the first 4 months of last year. As far as March, we only went down 13% on the closed units, which was really surprising with everything being in full lockdown mode. I kind of thought that would be higher. Closed volume, we're down 20% as far as the month over month versus last year goes, but really only down 6% from what we did in March. So something that we were talking about on some of our leadership calls was we had already been forecasting that there was going to be a shifted market. That's just something Keller Williams has been talking about. So things were already kind of trending down a little bit. What we weren't anticipating, of course, was that we were going to stack a pandemic on top of it. So we're in a little bit of uncharted territory. Our listings taken was 77. We had 77 new listings. That's kind of going to be our crystal ball for the next 60 days. So the listings taken is really going to forecast what we're going to be seeing. And that's really been emphasized to us as leadership over and over again, that listings are going to be the name of the game. And that's kind of, what Peter and Dwight have been talking about too. So that's going to be the number we're going to be watching really closely going forward. So our listings sold volume, surprisingly, was our 5th highest that we've had. So that was pretty outstanding. We're up 11%. So that was a really great number to see, because we always like those encouraging numbers. Contracts written volume, actually from March, it was up 133%. So you guys are out there, you're doing business and you're writing contracts, and that's fantastic. Our average sales price actually was our highest April ever. So we average sales price 500,000. So that was pretty outstanding too. Closed GCI, gross commission income. So this is the money that everybody took home and put in their pockets. Versus March was only down 16%. And again, being in the middle of a quarantine, that actually was higher than I was anticipating. So I was really excited to see that you guys still did over $1 million in commission income. Let's see the next slide, Austin. All right, this is how we're stacking up versus KW. So the first column, we have our numbers versus closed volume. And then there's the Northwest region, and then there's KWRI, their measurements versus what we did. Were you saying something, Peter? No? Okay. So the things that we're noticing are the similar across the entire country. Of course, the region we have a lot of market centers in Washington, and of course they were affected differently with the quarantine regulations than we were. And that's going to be the same with KWRI, because there were some states that were on complete lockdown. So, this is just something that we're going to be watching. And the listings taken, again, is the number that everybody is talking about. And so we're going to be watching that. Austin, let's see the next one. Okay, and this one is the one that's really the factor for our local market. This is numbers provided by RMLS. Our numbers are the ones in the red. So for the closed listing volume of last month, we were actually positive 16%. Our Portland Metro RMLS was down 15%. And then our territory, which is the territory our market center is assigned within Portland, was down 16%. So that was pretty cool to see that we were that far above everybody. Closed listing units, we were down 2%. And then our MLS overall in Portland was down 18. Our closed production volume, so that's the closed volume of sales and listings, we're down 4%, and we outpaced everybody by 12%. So that was pretty awesome. And the listings taken, again, we're down 17%, but the RMLS in general in Portland is down 25%. And something that we were talking about in our staff meeting was being in this, that our focus territory largely is in this part of Portland, is really going to make a big impact, because we don't typically focus on the inner part of Portland that's going to be hit harder with the COVID. So that where we're focused on for business is going to make a big difference. And then also with the sales prices that our agents are tending to focus on, that makes a big difference too. What do you think, Dwight? Can you give me some insights too?
Well, I was actually just trying to get into the chat room to text that this is all fantastic, but I didn't quite get there. So
That's all right. It's a little harder to do that on your phone.
Looks like Mike beat me to it.
Thank you
So
for sharing.
that's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, no, I think this is what we need to know, right? So I think the spread there with our production at one point was 30%. If you look at what we're doing and what's happening with our territory, and you know, that figures, right? So we're for the most part, we're hitting it hard, and we're more focused. And when you pay out $1 million in commissions, that means people are working. So I love it. I think that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Heather.
Yeah, and I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the stats that matter the most to you. So, I mean, let me know if you're looking for the regional stats or KW stats, or if you would really rather focus more on the local stats. Let me know, because I can gather as much of that information as you want. So just let me know.
Thank you, Heather. I think it's really good to see the comparison, right? Because the numbers alone are kind of impactful, but when you really see how we're doing compared to the RMLS, or even compared to the region as a whole. So thank you for sharing those. And it kind of is a good reminder of, as individual agents, are you looking at your own numbers like that, right? Are you, how are you going to know where you need to go and what you need to do if you're not even looking at where are you? How far are you down? How much do you have to make up? So a good reminder to look at the numbers for everyone too. All right, so last but not least on our agenda for today is Red Day tomorrow. Yay, Tanya, take it away.
Hi, everybody. So most of you know what Red Day is. For those that don't, Red Day is the second Thursday of May every single year, where Keller Williams, all offices across the world, we close our doors and we get out and we give back to the communities that we live in to make our world a better place. So with COVID-19, pretty much everywhere around KW, they are going virtual to make sure that we're still giving back and doing it in a safe way, because most states are still stay-home orders. So I want to share a couple things. I share the screen. We have created a website to donate to, and this is it. It's frontyardstofoodbanks.com, and everyone will receive an email with all of the graphics for you to be able to utilize and add your logos to it if you want to, your information, and push it out in any way that you want. This is just, we have this sign right here. This little picture is a sign. We have these signs being printed, and they'll be available for pickup starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the Market Center. We will have a happy hour tomorrow for Red Day. So don't forget, everybody has to wear red tomorrow. Wear a Red Day shirt, wear a Red Day hat. If you don't have it, wear something red. And we will have happy hour in the parking lot. We're going to do tailgating in safe conditions, and we will also be going live via Zoom. So this same link that you're on right now, you'll come to it if you don't want to come to the Market Center, and the signs will be available for pickup as your people donate. So what you want to do is you want to get into your database, you want to send them, reach out to all your people, contact them via phone. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute how to do a social media post with the images that we've created, and how easy and fast it is. You can do, so you could post via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, wherever you go, do a video, have your group get in. If you're on a team or a couple of you or whatever it is, put on your Red Day gear and make a quick little video saying this is our way of giving back because we can't get out there. So we're donating funds to donate to Oregon Food Bank. When they hit the donate button, it'll go automatically to the Oregon Food Bank. And we're asking that they try to add information about One, we get their phone number and we get their billing address. If their billing address is different than their home address, I will be posting out who's donated in a list. So if it's your client, you can reach out to me and we can get you the signs to make sure that everybody gets a sign in their yard. A $20 donation or higher gets them one sign. And let me show you the graphic. Well, we'll go right into Facebook. That's not it. Okay, so in designs, when you get your PDF, because to upload a design into Command to make it your own, you can only upload a PDF. So that's why we're sending those to you as well as the individual. So you're going to hit the plus button down on designs and you're going to import a PDF. And then you're going to hit next. And you are going to either drag and drop or come and grab it. Let me go find it. RedDay, let's do an Instagram post. No, well, you're gonna do a Facebook, sorry, because I'm gonna show you how to post it. And it's uploading it right down here. It's showing me that. So now it's uploaded. So now I have the new post or the design right here. Just give it a minute for it to upload. Today. There it is. And then just double click it and do pixels. It's the best quality for web. And then hit continue. It should work. I did this yesterday. See? Let's try it again. I'll go to edit. There we go. And then, so now we have it right here and it automatically pulls up with all the elements. It changes it, like on mine when I originally created this, this is all one box, but now it's 3 boxes. But all I want to do is add my logo to it. So I'm going to come down here to my logos and then I'm going to add my logo and throw it in over here in the bottom, opposite of KW, make sure that they are the same size as Keller Williams Realty Portland Premier over on the other side. If you have your own logo alongside with KW and it's been approved by Mike, then you can just delete this one and then add one that has them together. So we could do that, delete that, go to logos, grab the one that has them together, and you can always resize it and make it as big as you want it to be because they are together and they are approved, right? And now I have my image. So then I'm going to, I find it's always easier for me just to download it onto my computer. So I'm going to download it and then I'm going to hit done. And then you're going to go over to campaigns. You're going to go to the create a new campaign, do a social post. This is just how fast and easy you can do this for any of your things. Now I went ahead and I pre-created my text that I'm going to do over here so that it would be easier for me, so I'm not doing it on the fly. You want to make sure that when you do a post that the text stays within this. So if I had this going further, see how it goes dot 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 over here on the right hand side. You don't really want that. So try to just keep the text down to a minimum. So I basically just put in here that on RedDay, we close our offices so we can volunteer and that we're going virtual at our office. And then I'm going to upload my image. I found it's faster this way. Let's see. We'll do that one. It's not the one I did. And then you're going to want to do the wide for the Facebook post. Then because I already have the logo on there, I don't need to use the uploaded logo, so I can clear that out and then just come on down, schedule the time that you want to have it. You could do it immediately or you can schedule out a date and time that you want to have it. And then you can choose, if you have more than one Facebook account connected to your command, you can choose which business page. It's business pages that it goes to, so you have to have a business page for it. And then you would hit schedule post and it'll go out at the time that you choose to do it. I already have one there, so I'm going to hit save. And that's it, folks. Simple, easy, RedDay. Donate. I've already donated twice, actually. And share it with your people. Reach your database. This is great for Bold, right? Y'all have to call your contacts during Bold. So call them, talk about RedDay, talk about giving back, talk about how many people in our community have no jobs and no idea where their food is coming from. That's why we're doing it.
Thanks, Tanya. And a couple things. So we're going to share out, Tanya will send out the link and all these images. But I just want to call it something that is so cool about Command. So did you see how Tanya uploaded a flat image and then the items became editable? That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Right, like what a great feature. I mean, people pay a lot of money for video or graphic editing software to do that. So that was just a one call out. But yeah, we hope that everyone will participate. And I mean, even if everyone gets every 3 or 4 people to donate, that's amazing, right? Put the signs out. So just share this and hopefully we can, our goal is to raise $5,000, but our real goal is to be doing so well that we're going to be able to increase it. And this is kicking off today, but we're going to continue and leave it open, until the end of the month. I'm going on mute now.
Yes, RedDay is going to go all the way through the end of May. So, and it states that on the donation website as well.
So you will know where the donations came from. So if we put it to our client base and they share it with somebody else and they share it with somebody else and that third person donates, you'll know it came from the Clark group so we can put the sign out?
Well, we know it came from the person. We've added a line. We're kind of limited on what we can put on the donation form. We've added a line in the donation website that states in the company section of the donor form, put who your KW agent is to help us find who they are. Now, when they donate, it comes onto an Excel spreadsheet for us on the back side. I can see who they are and their billing address. So if their billing address is their home address, then we know where we can put a sign. We've added the phone number as an option. So if they put their phone number in there, we can call them and find out where their home is so we can, and who their agent is to get signs as well.
And Tanya will be managing that spreadsheet. So hopefully we'll figure out a good way to do that. I mean, for any that are today or tomorrow, we'll be able to sync up at the tailgate tomorrow and you can pick up your signs. And then moving forward, if there's people that we can't match up, we'll figure that out. We're hoping that it'll be seamless.
And then find everybody. And then Linda asked a question. Yes, the idea is that you as the agent will come pick up the sign and go to the client's yard and hopefully stick it in their yard and ask them to stand behind it and take a picture so that you can share it in your social media. And we can share it in our KW agent page, the public facing and the inward facing, so that we can just blow it up and get it out there everywhere that we're giving back and our people are giving back and helping support our communities.
Tanya, what if I want to donate for a couple of my clients that I'd like to do that for them?
Yeah, there's there's a dedication, and then when you check the dedication box, it brings down a few different options. You can do dedicated, you can do, hold on, let me pull it up real fast, I can tell you. You can dedicate it to something. So like I did a dedication and dedicated to my church food bank because they actually get their food from the Oregon Food Bank here in Forest Grove. And then you can do on behalf of, you can do in honor of, and you can do in memory of.
And all the money goes straight to the Oregon Food Bank. So yeah. It's really exciting. And yeah, Linda pointed out a great excuse to visit our clients' homes and put the signs in their yards.
That's right.
And I want to thank obviously Tanya and Heather for doing so much to put this together, but then our ALC has done a ton. Jenny, Megan, Cam, and Mark, and Gary. Do you guys want to add anything? But thank you for all the time to put this together and order the signs and everything too.
I don't really have anything to add. I'm just really excited about this, and I think it's going to be great exposure for us and a great way to contribute to our community.
This is
Yeah.
really cool. This is very cool. Very cool.
Exactly. Just what Jenny said. Thank you all for giving us an opportunity to do this. We're happy to stand behind it. And thank you to Jenny and Cam and Megan and everyone who just worked, and Tanya, who's working so hard to get these signs ready for us all. Thank you.
I gotta say, I keep getting forgotten about. I'm Gary, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know. I'm the commercial.
We're not forgetting about
you.
you.
Say hi. Hi.
Hi, Gary.
But Tanya's photo ID, I think, is really critical in all this too. And even if you're not the one, like if your clients aren't comfortable with, you know, coming outside and doing all that, if you install it, and then maybe that's an excuse to text them after and see if they can get a photo of their kids or something posing behind it, you can say, we'll post it to our social media page.
Yeah, or, you know, if they won't come out and take a picture of yourself in front of it and say, another client donated, right? You don't even have to tag them if you don't want to. Or if your clients join in and get in the picture, share the picture with them and have them share it. Or, you know, tag them on your post that you do, so that then your website, your Facebook page gets pushed out even further to their friends and family.
Great ideas. And we hope you all will come to the tailgate tomorrow. So we're starting it at 3 for if you want to come pick up signs, and you can, you know, tailgate in the back of your car. You'll stay far away from people. You'll bring your own tailgate drink. And so hopefully it's a safe way to come together, but stay apart too. But we think it'll be really fun if everyone wears red and comes there. And if you cannot come in person, you'll be able to pick your signs up. We will be leaving them at the office. We'll figure out ways.
We'll be back in the office starting next Monday. So, and I'm the gatekeeper of the signs to make sure that we're giving them out to the right people and they can get them to their clients.
Wonderful. So let's get excited tomorrow. I hope we see lots of faces and lots of pictures in red. And hopefully we'll see you all at
real quick,
8 o'clock, right?
This image behind me, guys, I created this in Command. Fast, easy, 10 minutes. Because, you know, finding the pictures actually took a little longer. So you can do this too.
Wonderful.
All right, that was it.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, bye, everybody.